Yo, what's cracking everyone? Ericship 111 here, and we are back with another Forza Horizon 5 video. Now this morning when I woke up, I saw that Playground Games released some brand new patch notes, which of course indicates that issues within the game has been addressed. However, if you head over to their support page, you will know just how long the list actually is when it comes to all the problems, issues, bugs, and so on that Horizon 5 currently has at the moment. So for Playground Games to just fix all of them in one update is near impossible, but the new patch notes does state that Horizon 5 went through a hotfix which actually addressed a lot of the game's overall stability and multiplayer issues, along with some of the biggest exploits that I'm sure some of you watching right now have either done, tried, or thought about. I'll also talk about whether or not these exploits are a bannable offense towards the end of the video, so if you are a little worried, make sure to watch till the very end. So in today's video, while a lot of problems have been addressed in this hotfix, I want to focus on 5 major exploits and bugs that have finally been patched in Forza Horizon 5 that we all desperately wanted, and whether or not some of these exploits are a bannable offense. Starting off with number 1, losing all your skill chain. So I'm going to start with perhaps 2 of the most annoying multiplayer bugs that Playground Games have addressed in this hotfix, and the first is of course your car stopping for a brief moment when you have lost connection to Horizon Life. Now I'm sure most of you watching have experienced this at some point. You are on a huge skill chain and through no fault of your own, you suddenly get disconnected from Horizon Life and your car just suddenly stops, which then breaks all of your skill chain because the game thinks you have just hit a wall. Well, thankfully now this has been fixed, so you no longer have to worry about your skill chain ever being broken from server issues. Number 2, Horizon Arcade. Now, I have been reading on Reddit, Facebook, and Twitter that a lot of people were complaining about Horizon Arcade because there just wasn't enough players, therefore anyone who does take part in one of these events will most likely not reach the 3rd round and receive any Forzathon points, thus wasting around 10 to 15 minutes. So I decided to try this out for myself, and the gameplay you see on the screen now was recorded a few days ago before this hotfix went live, and as you can see in the beginning, there was at least one person in my Horizon Arcade. Now I know 2 of us weren't going to complete all 3 rounds, but this was for experimental purposes. So once the round started, one thing I noticed was that everyone else in the same lobby started disappearing, then my teammate disappeared as well, and it literally felt like I was the only one doing all this Horizon Arcade all by myself, despite seeing the group progress bar moving while I wasn't banking anything. Then once the Horizon Arcade was all over, everyone within the lobby reappeared again, and to me this didn't make any sense at all, and for the next few Horizon Arcades it was the exact same thing. Thankfully, in the latest hotfix, Playground Games have addressed the online player visibility in Horizon Arcade. So once again, I wanted to test this for myself, and this gameplay was recorded today after the hotfix, and look at the massive improvement. I can see everyone participating in this Horizon Arcade. I can also see other players who aren't in the Horizon Arcade but is still showing the same lobby as me, and overall it felt like there was a Horizon Life, and guess what? We won 60 Forzathon points. Now, maybe having the Forzathon shop enabled may have played a part in players actually doing the Horizon Arcade, but just seeing players not disappearing like how they were just a couple of days ago is a huge improvement for me, and I'm much more confident about hosting my first subscriber showcase with all of you. Number 3, Car Mastery. Okay, so we now move on to the exploits, first with the car masteries. So the 2 cars that were used for this exploit was the Willys Jeep and the other was the new 2020 Toyota Supra. And what players would do is purchase a ton of these vehicles and spend 5 skill points per vehicle to obtain a super wheel spin. Now, if you're doing this for either one of these vehicles once, it wouldn't really have any effect, but it's when you start having 10 or 20 20 of these vehicles and you accumulate around 10 to 20 super wheel spins, you will find that over time it will become very lucrative, as the prizes within Horizon 5's wheel spins are actually pretty good, and players have been using this as one form of method to not just obtain more credits but also to collect wheel spin only vehicles along with super rare novelty items. But now if you have either of these two cars and head over to the car mastery section, you will see that the super wheel spin perk has been completely removed. Now this exploit still required the players to earn quite a lot of skill points, and 5 skill points per vehicle, although is not much considering the huge rewards you will gain, time still needs to be somewhat invested. You still have to go out into free roam or a race or whatever to accumulate as many skill points as possible. On top of that, you must go through the hassle of actually purchasing these cars one at a time through the auto show, which is quite tedious, and then to level up every individual car just to get the super wheel spin. It may not be the quickest or easiest exploit, but as I mentioned before, eventually you will get some huge rewards. Now, do I think this is a bannable offense? Well, I'm not speaking on behalf of Playground Games or anybody for this matter. This is just purely my opinion, but if you are someone who did use this exploit to gain an advantage within the game, I do believe you may just be lucky enough to not get banned, as it was something that Playground Games did implement into Horizon 5. However, with that said though, the developers have banned players in the past for much less, such as skipping checkpoints to gain a shortcut so they could place higher on the rivals' leaderboards. Number 4, buying any car. So this is another exploit that even IGN showed. Can you believe it? I thought IGN were a bunch of gaming journalists that did gaming reviews, but who knew for a brief moment they also wanted to be Forza Horizon 5 YouTubers. So as we all know, there are over 500 cars in Horizon 5 and quite a few of them can't actually be bought from the auto show. They can only be obtained either via Wheelspin, Forzathon shop, or even the festival playlist. However, with this, and I will say it's a glitch as well as an exploit, before the patch, if you head over to the car collection and selected a car that couldn't be purchased through the auto show, for example the DeLorean, in order for you to purchase the car, all you had to do was exit and re-enter the car collection again, and the prompt to purchase the vehicle on the bottom left would appear. And I do believe this worked with every vehicle that was shown in the car collection. So after the hotfix, this of course no longer works, and I think this one might be a little bit harder for Playground Games to track should you have actually done this, because most, if not all, the cars within the car collection can actually be obtained one way or another, and if these vehicles can also be won from wheel spins, in my opinion, you might just be okay. Again, I must preface that this is just my opinion and does not reflect on how Playground Games may deal with this apart from just patching it. And lastly, number 5, the AFK Goliath. This needs no introduction. I think we all know about this exploit. Now, the truth is, I didn't even know Playground Games added an auto steering feature in Horizon 5, and I believe the reason why Playground Games added this was to increase the game's accessibility for everyone to play, which to me is awesome. But of course, with a feature like this, players are going to exploit it, and combine that with the 50-lap Goliath race, some sticky tape or a rubber band, and around 10 hours, it's GG. Now, in this patch, Playground Games stated that they have added checks to stop this exploit. Now, I'm not sure how they are going to implement this though, but what I do know from what I've read on Facebook is that the rewards have now been heavily nerfed by doing the 50-lap Goliath race. Now, I know that some of you watching this is wondering, will I get banned for doing the AFK Goliath exploit? And there's been a lot of arguments made by the community saying, well, it's part of the game, so you should be fine. There's really nothing in the Forza enforcement guidelines which outlines in-game exploits as a bannable offense. But if you ask me, there still is a chance that you could possibly get banned. If I'm trying to look at the opposite side of the argument from the developer's point of view, the auto steering feature was intended for players that actually need it to enjoy Horizon 5, not for players to end up gaining a huge advantage within the game while not even being there. And although I don't think that they'll get everyone, you may never know. You may just be one of the unlucky ones that does get banned, and what's the counter argument going to be, or your submit a ticket going to read? I only did the AFK exploit. I don't know, doesn't really sound like a very good argument to me. So basically, out of the 3 exploits, the one you are most likely to face consequences is the AFK Goliath race. But what are your opinions? Should players get banned for using this exploit or not? Write them down in the comment section below. I will be reading them. So there we have it, guys. 5 major exploits and bugs that have been patched for Forza Horizon 5. Anyways, if you guys did find this video helpful, please make sure to smash the thumbs up button, as it really does help me out. And also, if you guys would like to see more Forza Horizon 5 content right here on this channel, make sure to click the subscribe button with notifications turned on. That way you won't ever miss out on another video that goes live. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace.